Welcome to Emerald Downs Weekly. It is Longacres Mile Week, Championship Sunday, this Sunday, August 11th at Emerald Downs. A lot about that on today's show. Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler. We're not blue. We're all wearing little shades of blue today, fellas. But we're certainly not blue because it is Mile Week at Emerald Downs, and probably the best lineup of stakes races in Mile Day history. Phil, we got incredible lineup this weekend.
Yeah, it's nice to have the 4 stakes races all on the same day. The Derby, the Oaks, the Distaff, and the Mile. We'll have an all-stakes pick 4. We're going to be part of an all-stakes pick 5 nationwide with Saratoga and maybe Ellis Park. A lot of excitement, a lot of great betting races, a lot of great opportunities to make some money here on Sunday.
11 horses in the Mile. We'll get to that field upcoming on the show. And also a little bit about last week as usual. It was Corgi Sunday this past Sunday, and we had a full house, Gary, and a lot of Corgis out there on the track.
Absolutely. We had the Parade of the Corgis. Before we had 6 heats and then a championship heat. And Phil, that last heat was some real serious running.
I know they all ran. These were the best of all the heats. The top 2 from each heat were in the championship, and the Corgis put on a great show. And very competitive final. We're going to see highlights coming up later in the show.
I don't know if any dogs stumbled, but a couple humans did out there on Sunday. We'll have some of that upcoming here on Emerald Downs Weekly. And, Mile Day, first race at 2 p.m., Saturday backing up to 5 p.m., and this coming Friday, Fab Friday, first race at 6:30. But let's talk a little bit about last week. Hey, how about Kevin Krieger splashing into the scene here at Emerald Downs? He did ride here very briefly in 2017. The last time he'd won here was 2011. Leading rider of 2005, Kevin Krieger. He's already taken the lead in the first race here on Friday night. Kevin Krieger wasted no time. He wins aboard I Double Dare You for trainer Jesse Velasquez. Welcome back to Kevin Krieger. As there he is, rode Golden Sense in the Kentucky Derby for Doug O'Neill in 2013. And, he hasn't spent that many full seasons at Emerald Downs, but he's been very productive, Gary.
Yeah, leading rider one year, was it 05 or 06?
05, yeah.
05.
Second in 06.
Yep, so great to see Kevin come back. David Singer, Marbles, jockey agent, got him to come back from Thistledown. And he had 2 triples to start 2019.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more. He did win the second race, by the way. Let's look at race number 5 on Fab Friday night at Emerald Downs. Arturo Arboleda continues to train winners. Age 95, here's Sway Road with a narrow victory over Spittin' Havoc. The one's going to come on late, but Sway Road won it. Patrick Henry Jr. aboard for Arturo Arboleda. And Phil, I know you respect Arturo.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yep. He still gets around here. 95 years old. We've made the proclamation that he is the oldest active trainer in North America. Nobody has debated us on that.
Nope.
And he continues to not only be active but win races.
Pretty darn robust as well. He is doing well. So Sway Road gets a victory there. And our feature race, the Muckleshoot Casino Purse, was a mile race on a Fab Friday night. Let's hear from track announcer Tom Harris.
With a final furlong to go, remember to breathe down at the inside. Deep stretch they come. Buckley Bay on the lead. Center of the racetrack, Rough and Ready is rolling late. 70 yards to the finish. Buckley Bay holding on gamely. Buckley Bay wins it by 3.5.
Pretty nice blowout win for Buckley Bay. He's won 2 straight now by Harbor the Gold out of Courtroom Charmer early in the card. Courtroom Charmer, the Dam, had another winner in Judicial. But Gary Wales aboard. He took a nice confident look over to the competition there at the top of the stretch and just said, I got some horse left. I don't know about you guys there. It doesn't look like it. I don't think I have many challenges. So nice win for Buckley Bay, for trainer Joe Toy and the Conleys, Chuck and Greg in the Terra Firma Farm. So that's a look at Friday. By the way, I think Kevin took the finale, didn't he, Kevin Krieger? He did, on Lou's Skyhook. So he won 3 on Friday. Let's move on to Saturday's racing at Emerald Downs, and let's go to race number 2 right off the bat on Saturday. Here we come down the stretch here, and this was a great ride by Kevin Krieger. He's in the orange there on Roman Effort. He had that horse some 15 off the lead. The second place horse, My Chief, is a closer. He closed first. Kevin was patient, well behind My Chief. And, he's off to a good start. Kevin Krieger there for trainer Sil Juarez on Roman Effort. And, 6 wins in 2 days. Boy, that's quite the splash. And he did get him out in the mile.
And you could tell how respected he is coming in first night back, riding every race, and he rode pretty much almost every race all weekend.
That's right. He rode the card, I believe. I think you're right, Friday and Saturday. Let's go on to race number 6 on Saturday's card here at Emerald Downs. This was a great finish here. So Lucky had gone to the lead under Jennifer Whitaker. She had beaten the favored Lawan, who broke poorly. Look at this 3-horse finish here. On the far outside, it's Bullet Drill, narrowly over Bob's All In. Bob's All In, the former Emerald Racing Club, now in the Horse Players Racing Club. But Bullet Drill won it for trainer Frank Lucarelli, Kevin Orozco aboard, owners Billy Speed Racing Stable. That was a nice, exciting finish, I thought. Pretty exciting in slow motion, too. What do you
Blanket finish, as the predictor would say.
Okay, and the 7th race was our Saturday feature here at Emerald Downs, and once again, Tom Harris.
On the outside, Ceres Tiger is gaining by leaps and bounds with a final furlong to go. Classic Leah digs in. Here comes Ceres Tiger on the attack. 100 yards away. Ceres Tiger rolls to the front now. Classic Leah cannot keep pace, and Ceres Tiger on to win it by 2.5.
First 2-turn victory for Ceres Tiger, her 3rd career win. Dr. Rodney Orr, the owner, Steve Bullock, the trainer, Kevin Krieger aboard. That was his 3rd victory on Saturday. So just a very well-judged ride from off the pace again for Krieger.
And Dam is what, Seriano. She was a stakes winner, wasn't she here, Joe, going 2 turns?
Seriano, definitely a stakes winner for Dr. Orr. Classic Leah ran a big race on the front end, her first mile. That horse was 3 for 6 coming in. Paul Johnson always lets you know that his horse is doing pretty well.
Absolutely,
You like Paul.
We saw a lot of horses making that move at about the 3/8 pole and making that big move on the turn. You don't see that a lot at Emerald Downs because we're often a speed favoring track, but it has not been that way, and Kevin figured that out right away.
Boy,
Sure
he
did.
did. The 8th and final, let's take a look at that. That was a maiden race for fillies at 5.5. Guided by Angels is pretty quick. She's one of those daughters of Rocky Barr. And Guided by Angels is going to hold off. Lynchpin Lady gets a little tight there, but congratulations to trainer Scott Freeman, as he had a double on Saturday. He's going to be trainer of the week for that. Good going for Scott Freeman. There he is holding his maiden breaking filly, Guided by Angels, with Gary Wales aboard. So 2 for 2 for Scott Freeman on Saturday's card. And we'll come back, take a look at Sunday. We've got a lot to talk about this Sunday coming up at Emerald Downs and more on Emerald Downs Weekly.
Phil, you didn't mention the $2 margaritas for Championship Sunday.
Oh, we'll get that out there.
Yeah, we will. I know. And beers and hot dogs. It'll be a good time. Weather's supposed to be good.
Emerald Downs Weekly, Longacres Mile Week has arrived. Championship Sunday with, of course, the mile and 11 runners looking for that rich first prize and racing Northwest history here on Sunday at Emerald Downs. Also the Emerald Distaff, the Muckleshoot Derby, and the Washington Oaks. It's Championship Sunday. Last Sunday was Corgi Sunday. We're going to recap that a little bit. A lot of fun, a lot of speed, competition, anger even. Let's take a look at last Sunday's thoroughbred racing a little bit first. Let's go to race number 6. This was quite an Emerald Downs debut. It was a maiden race. Look at that lead for Benny the Jet, a son of Bernardini out of a Giants Causeway mare, up to Emerald Downs in the barn of Patty Lydon, Ryan Barber. 137-1 for a maiden. Pretty impressive. Phil,
what you don't see is that Benny, there was a speed duel in this race.
Right, with Zip and Wine.
Yeah, with Zip and Wine, and they were way out in front, and then Benny the Jet just took off and left everybody behind. I said at the time it was the most impressive performance I've seen out here all year. Now, that may not be true, but just in the moment, it looked that good. And if the Derby had been maybe another week later, maybe they would have thought of putting him in there.
Who knows?
He looked great.
Phil, I missed a race. I was staging corgis for the next 2 corgi races. A lot going on in the park, so I didn't see that big.
We should have
debut
held
of
up the
racetrack.
races because you were late.
No, I
That's
was-
why we offer replays online, Gary.
Free
For
replays.
free. Yes,
at
emeralddowns.com.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a plug in for that.
Yeah, Benny the Jet, huge victory there. He had run recently at Los Alamitos. He'd run as low as maiden 20, but his best career start was his most recent down at Los Al for maiden 40. But wow, what an effort here at Emerald Downs. That was impressive. Let's go on to race number 7 on Sunday here at the track, and this was a good battle down the stretch. These were 3-year-olds at 6 furlongs. It's Melcher, Kincaid Park, Emily's Gold on the outside, down to Melcher, and Emily's Gold on the rail. And it's the Rema Racing Incorporated Melcher, trained by Frank Lucarelli. Kevin Orozco aboard. He was the favorite, by the way. 8 favorites won. The money was getting sent back to the public on Sunday. 8 of 9 races won by the favorite. Howard Hammer's in that winner's circle. 99-year-old owner.
Wow.
And I think I mentioned earlier on a show, he had his birthday was right around Kentucky Derby Day, and little race for Howard and his wife. And Howard said, leaving the winner's circle, well, see you next year. And hey, he has been a great part of Emerald Downs and Washington Thoroughbred racing for a long time. So Melcher won that one, and we did have a feature race on Sunday as well. Older horses in the Hannah's 13th birthday purse, which made a couple of network sports reports on Sunday night. Hannah got her name in there, and let's hear the winning name of the horse from Tom Harris.
On the far outside, Hit the Beach. 200 yards for home. Grinder sparks a glow, strikes the lead. Concur fights back. Here comes Hit the Beach, flying on the outside. Hit the Beach on the charge. Gets there to win it.
Hit the Beach. He was the Washington Handicap Horse of the Year last year. As you remember, he ended 2018 so strongly. He won Muckleshoot Tribal Classic. There's Ed Zenker and Swede Larson. Pat Mullins wasn't able to make it. 92-year-old trainer Pat Mullins. Yeah, but Hit the Beach. A great claim by them a couple years ago, Swede, Ed, and Pat Mullins, and he has provided them with some great thrills.
All 7 of those horses. Did you notice all 7 of them right there in that
they
picture?
Were, yeah.
They were all close together.
And the Longacres Mile nominees, there were 3 in there. They ran all in the top 4, led by Hit the Beach. Grinder Sparks Aglow, a mile nominee, was 2nd. Concur was 4th. Of course, those 3 not going in the mile, having raced on Sunday. So,
but this horse is going to go to the Washington Cup.
Undoubtedly,
to defend as champion, and he's always gets running awful well in August and September. Hit the Beach.
That's right. Hit the Beach took our feature race. And in between all that and around all that, it was Corgi Sunday at Emerald Downs. That kind of dominated the afternoon. The Parade of the Corgis, that's a lot of people and doggies out there on the track, fellas.
Yep, over 70 Corgis came out on Sunday, and the owners and the handlers and the kids of the dogs all came out to be shown off to the crowd. This is after race 2. A big applause, right, Phil, from all the fans here to see all the Corgis out there?
Man, they had fun. We're going to see some highlights of some of these races, and
some take it very, very serious. There's posters and signs and people wearing T-shirts with their favorite Corgi.
Have we figured out why the Corgi crowd is so much bigger than the other Dog Day crowds? Well, there was 72, so that's a more entrance.
They put on, I don't know, it's great. They wrestle with each other and they run the wrong way, and some of them run all over the place. One goes in the infield for about 3 minutes. We'll see some highlights of that. And we had a race that was so close. Luckily, the top 2 qualified for the finals, because watch this. Try to pick a winner. I don't know the names of these dogs.
It was a 9 and 11.
And Gary was down there trying to pick a winner. And we watched it in slow motion.
Yep.
And this is about as close as to a Corgi dead heat as you'll ever get.
No kidding.
Hitting the line together. They both went on, of course, to the finals.
That third dog should be an NFL receiver. Do you see the route he ran? He did an in and then an out, and then he did a streak. Then he stopped downfield. But that was a close one right there.
Yes.
So they both made the finals.
Yes.
And then in the championship, we're going to show the call, Tom Harris with the call of the championship Corgi race.
Runners away. No.
And Corgis away. Good start for Angus Fun. The outside, Angus Fun was all business and came dashing home in front.
Good call by Tom. He picked out among all those corgis, Angus
Joe,
Fun.
you always give all the stats for the winning horses, so
Okay.
here we go. Angus Fun is a Pembroke Welsh Corgi born December 21st, 2015. And Davis Fan and Marion Armas, the owners, as we saw there, getting the trophy. And that dog has his own Instagram page at the Corgi Story and has over 8,600 followers, and that was before winning the championship trophy.
Oh, there you
So,
go.
there you go.
8,600 followers for a corgi. No wonder we have such a big crowd on Corgi Sunday. Mm-hmm.
We put that race on Instagram. Was it Sunday night or Monday? And over 100,000 views this week already for that race.
Wow.
And I should say they live right here in Auburn, so they're very local and brought their dog out and had a great time. Bunch of treats in that
And
trophy.
he ran straight, didn't
yes,
he, Phil?
it was a great performance by Angus. Yes, and we had one corgi win a heat, and then went on. Now we can't show the whole thing in real time because it would take up the rest of the show. So this dog had just won and decided
That dog never gets out.
it wasn't going to get caught by its
He
owners.
wanted to get out and stay out.
And there's Vern Bays.
Yep.
And this is in the infield now. They've already crossed over.
Vern
And then Vern saves
God,
the day.
He's good at catching animals, that guy. Wait.
And then we had a member of our TV crew also try to chase down one of the corgis who got loose in the infield. And this one did not go as well.
Ooh.
And there's Lewis.
Lewis tripped over those blades of grass out there. I mean,
Yeah.
I can look. Oh, there's a little hump there.
Little hump.
Lewis,
Look at the
well,
cor-
at least he broke
Look
his
at the
fall. a little
corgi
bit.
looking at him.
Yeah, like, what's going on here?
He knew how to roll, too, to save the TV equipment that was attached to his sides there, too. Way to go, Lewis.
And Lewis still tries to grab the dog at the end. Oh, my.
Looks like Lewis came out of it okay.
There was what about the angry corgi? Oh, this.
Ooh.
Angry corgi.
That corgi's mad at that corgi next to him. Looks a little like you, Gary.
A little bit.
A little bit. No
Boy.
resemblance, really.
No.
Something angered that corgi.
Oh, my. You snuck in the race.
I did.
It's not good.
Corgi Sunday at Emerald Downs, another big success, a lot of fun, and
How many
some
corgis wear
memories.
glasses?
Let's see how long we could leave this picture up.
That's plenty.
All right, we'll be right back on Emerald Downs Weekly.
Oh, boy. You're going to turn me into human resources, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's
Papers.
right, Bill.
They've
Better
been
watch
fun.
it out.
Your parents watch this show, right?
They do. They give me opinions.
Emerald Downs Weekly continues. Hope you can join us on Sunday, if not Friday night and Saturday twilight racing for the Long Acres Mile Card Championship Sunday, August 11th, and some nice little specials for the fans as well that day, Gary.
Yeah, on Sunday we'll have $2 hot dogs, $2 Bud and Bud Lights, and $2 margaritas.
I
So
think
come
that's
on
killing,
out.
That's killing Gary that he can't have a $2 Bud or Bud Light.
It does sound pretty
He's
darn
working
good.
that day.
I am.
That's a great deal. Bud and Bud Light, margaritas, and hot dogs, all for just $2 on Mile Day. First race at 2 p.m. The Railbird Rally's earlier. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. The draw for the mile was on Wednesday, but also the draw for the first time on our mile post position draw brunch for the Washington Oaks. There's that board, and the Muckleshoot Derby, as we drew all those races, including the Emerald Distaff as well, which has always been on Mile Day in Emerald Downs history. Brett Anderson there with his staff and steward Kenny Dahl. The draw, well attended and of great interest to connections, especially those post positions can be key. Let's talk a little bit about the Washington Oaks.
The buffet, Joe, was awful good too.
It was outstanding, you bet. One of the highlights of the Oaks, or one of the great angles here, is Killarney Lass, who won that allowance race on July 6th by 18 lengths. Kevin Orozco for Frank Lucarelli, a daughter of Escandrea. She'd been in 2 of the 3-year-old filly stakes, hadn't really done all that much, had a third behind Mucho More and a little less talk in one of those sprint stakes, but wow, did she put things together in her most recent. And, she has a little bit of a route history as well, as you check out her PPs.
Yeah, I saw that in California. She ran a big grade 3 on the turf, and she went real quick that day, 10-3 for 6 furlongs, going a mile and 1/8. Yeah, it's tough going from 6.5 furlongs to, 9 furlongs. But, again, I'm sure she'll open up 3 or 4 links, and the owner, Dan Sargent, great guy. He'll be here with his family and friends, and they'll root her on, and it's just fun to participate in some of these on a big race on Championship Sunday.
She has 4 wins, and 4 wins
right.
is more than anyone else in the field. So
1 by 18 and 1 by 14, I see that.
that's right, here at Emerald Downs. She loves this track. Killarney Last, she's bred to route by Escandrea out of a more than ready mare. And again, she has a 1 mile win down at Golden Gate. So, Phil, that race on July 6th, we all remember pretty well.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you guys actually for your opinion on this, because you see this more on Championship Sunday than any other day of the year here at Emerald Downs, where you have to look at horses coming from out of state, and a lot of these horses are coming from turf to dirt. And we see that in a few cases, like you look at Two Shakes in that race, and that horse has been 4 out of 5 races on the turf and 1 synthetic, right?
Hey, a Wesley Ward trainee, 4 out of 5 in the exacta. So, yeah.
I mean, that's a wild card. I mean, I don't know
You
what
bet.
when you're handicapping. There's a horse that maiden special weight Saratoga wins by a nose at 2-1, so you know that horse has a lot of class, and you look
Bought
at that
for
and
$310,000.
I know. That's
Dave Mowat.
Yeah, Dave Moak. Wow.
Local owner supporting our program once again. Oh, she'll definitely get some attention there.
Dave Mowat.
Two Shakes has the 2 post, and then Twirling Devon had a nice win over Mucho Amor in the Irish Day. Came up the inside. That horse has a really good record, Twirling Devon. She's 8 out of 10 in the top 3, and she's run against Northwest Factor twice. She's outrun her both times. Northwest Factor won the Gottstein last year in her first route test, and Mucho Amor has been a constant in this division all year.
We'll see if gets blinkers on Sunday.
Mucho Amor,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
So, the Oaks, can Killarney Lass blow them away? Well, it's a lot tougher field, but there's some ability there. Let's go on to the Muckleshoot Derby, also at a mile and 8, this time for 3-year-olds. And I know we're aware here on this set that a little less talk went to the Derby rather than the Washington Oaks. The outstanding filly trained by Rodina Barrett meeting the boys. How about that one?
Yeah, interesting call.
Yeah.
Does she get a weight break in this race?
Yes, she does.
3 or 5 pounds, I believe.
She gets a weight break. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Might be 3, but nonetheless, I'm wondering if they felt that the Derby field was a little bit easier than the Oaks.
all those horses we just talked
Yes.
about in the
Yep.
Oaks are tough horses, and maybe they just thought this would be an easier spot.
Right, it's open
Yeah.
for
Gary
3-year-olds.
might know this answer. Has there been a filly run in the Derby here in the Emerald Downs era?
Well, I remember one at Yakima Meadows between Lawacres and Emerald Downs. Horse in 1995. Ron Crockett's Please Right won the race, but afterwards was disqualified for having an illegal substance. And I'm trying to think of somebody winning one here at racing here
Good
in
call.
Emerald Downs.
Please right, won
Yep.
by about 8 lengths against the boys in Yakima. She did unfortunately lose that purse, but she won 2 stakes here
She
in
was
our
not-
inaugural
okay.
season.
And I
But
looked
there
it up.
was one.
There was one.
There was one.
Who was that? Ran
Jerry
sec-
Paxton's
Oh.
Taste the Passion.
She ran in the Derby, huh?
She ran in the 2000 Emerald Downs Derby.
Okay.
Finished 8th. She was a really good 2- and 3-year-old filly here.
Yep.
But that's the only one.
I looked up the last time a filly won the Derby was in 1964. Smoggy Doo beat a Hastings or a Exhibition Park invader by the name of George Royal,
who was a tremendous racehorse.
He'd won 7
The
straight.
Canadians still can't believe he lost to a filly down
Yes.
here.
They bet him down to even money, and Smoggy Doo paid $15, and she's in the Washington Racing Hall of Fame.
I think she beat the boys 11 or 12 times in her career. I counted them up once.
Wow.
Tremendous horse,
Yep.
Smoggy Doo.
1964.
Yeah, so our Derby has a little less talk, and some of the other runners in there, El Baracho, a maiden from Blaine Wright. There's My Grandpa, 3rd in the Seattle Slew. Rally Cat, 2nd in the Seattle Slew, time and time again. And Toto S. Toro going for the money and the Derby here at Emerald Downs on Sunday, Championship Sunday. We'll take a break, come back and look at the distaff, and maybe we might look at the Long Acres Mile as well. Emerald Downs Weekly.
You can tell with all these papers on our desk.
Yeah.
It's a big race weekend.
84th running of the Long Acres Mile is Sunday at Emerald Downs. 11 runners, 6 shippers coming right into the track. And we haven't mentioned the probable favorite's name, the morning line favorite, Any Port in a Storm. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself here, aren't I, fellas?
It's all right. That's a big race.
Talk a little distaff first, but Any Port in a Storm has a couple of wins here. We'll get to him in a moment. But let's talk about that distaff. It's been on Mile Day ever since '96, every year in Emerald Downs history. There have been 23 runnings of the Emerald Distaff. That horse you mentioned, Please Right, took the first one.
As a favorite, 3-2. I was here handicapping for the newspaper. I can't recall if I had her on top. Joe, it's been so long ago.
I believe she might have been favored in that race. John Sadler did send up Wendy, who was second. It was close, but Please Right won it. Ron Crockett had a good year with his horses in '96 as he and Jack Hodge and the investors opened up Emerald Downs. And the mile wasn't that far into the start of the season. We didn't open until June 20th that year.
That's right, 2 months.
Bill was in Western Washington at that time as well. You moved in here from Long Island.
I was working just down the road at the Muckleshoot Casino, actually. Yeah.
Well, this year's distaff has a field of 9, and it's a wide open race. Bella Mia is in there. You know, she's only won 1 of 8 over the last 2 years, which surprises me because she's fast and she doesn't quit. But it's tough to win a stakes race around here.
Yeah, going 2 turns when you see Blaine Wright's name.
And Blaine Wright has won 7 of our first 14 stakes at Emerald Downs this year, leading stakes trainer in 2017 and 18 as well. I'm going to take Bella Mia again. She broke a little slowly in the Boeing from an outside post. She rushed up and challenged guarding the money. They set a really fast pace, a pretty fast pace indeed. And she tired just a little bit, but only beaten 2 lengths. So she has the 1 hole on Sunday, going 1 mile and 1/8. What do you think? Can she get that far?
Well, I know she'll be leading. Drawing the inside, they got to go. And, 9 furlongs, it's a long way around. So you need the breeding, a little bit of luck. And obviously, how's the track condition playing that day? Traditionally, going back many, many years, on a mile day, you wanted to be up front or near the pace. So we'll see what the track condition is this Sunday.
Okay, the defending champ Reginella's in there for trainer Blaine Wright as well. And how about Blaine last year? He took 5 different stakes races for open stakes races for fillies and mares with 5 different horses. No talking back, comes off a win in the Boeing for trainer Chris Stensley. She'll be charging late.
I think that group of owners have all taken their T-shirts to the cleaners, right? Phil, and get them washed up for Mile Day.
One horse will do, and Steve Shimizu.
That Boeing,
Jody Peets.
Definitely wise to go back and watch a replay a few times on that because a lot of the contenders came out of that race. Patty Secret had the lead.
Oh, yeah, she made a nice move, just couldn't quite sustain it. Yeah, she's drew post number 8, Frank Lucarelli in charge. Agapito Delgadillo rode her in the Boeing, and he made that nice early move, and she was beaten just 3/4 by no talking back. Blazing Beauty coming on strongly for 3rd, Bella Mia 4th. So all 4 of them back in the distaff on Sunday. Going 1 mile and 1/8 this time. So
that's going to be the toughest maybe of the pick 4 sequence because you're probably going to have to cover to be safe 4 or 5 in this race.
All stakes pick 4 races 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Do you have EM&D for me's phone number?
He won another one.
Did he win that last pick 5?
I think so.
Jackpot pick 7.
Yes. Okay, Jackpot
NYRA pick 7. Bets.
And then the main event.
The main event. And by the way, Kenny Mayne does a show called The Main Event, and he's going to be our honorary steward for the 84th Long Acres Mile. Great to have Kenny out. He has stopped by a few times this year. Here's the draw on Wednesday morning at Emerald Downs. Shannon putting up the numbers. That was the favorite, Any Port in a Storm. He drew post number 8, which was a jinx post for a lot of years. Not until the late 90s did Bud Royale break out that jinx. There's the field for the 84th mile. Curlin Rules from John Sadler. Brave Nation down from Hastings. John Snow, the trainer. more power to him. Took the Mount Rainier over El Huerfano and Oh Marvelous Me. There's the field. Riders, morning line odds for the 84th mile. Again, 6 shippers. Restrained Vengeance on the rail there for trainer Val Brinkerhoff. And let's do some early selections for the mile. Phil?
Well, I geared in on Restrained Vengeance and Law-Abiding Citizen were the two that I was torn between. I'm probably going to use them both in pick 4s and exactas and all kinds of. If I had to pick one, I'll take Law-Abiding Citizen.
He's a graded stakes winner on the grass this year. Won the down the hill at Santa Anita, San Simeon. Gary, how about you? What do you think?
I think the big favorite's going to be, first or second, Any Port in Storm. Just so fast. He looks so good in the sprints here. He has the fastest, 6 furlong race here in Emerald Downs this year?
And 6.5.
And 6.5. And I'll be rooting for the exacta Rocky Tough from Freddie Desimone's barn. They wouldn't spend $50,000 for him at Churchill Downs, owned by Ann Glenn Kelly, Tim McKenna trained, Julian Couton riding, and there'll be like 20, 25 links back, Joe. But maybe we'll have the front runner hang on, and here comes Freddie, and those two hit the wire together.
Rocky Tough has got that kick going in time. And we mentioned. We found out this morning, Wednesday morning at Emerald Downs, Rocky Tough, owned by the Desimones and Glenn and Ann Kelly, and Dave Stoddicker with Solid Wager, and Craig Perrenboom, and Cheryl, his wife, brought in El Huerfano. They all claim these horses just to run in the mile, which they're all Northwest-based people. They love horse racing, and they want to be part of the mile, Phil. So it's working out well.
Yeah, and again, handicapping challenge, and Any Port in a Storm, you would think, morning line favorite should win, but a lot of handicappers are going to look down and see the only time that horse went 2 turns, didn't win. So no wins around 2 turns, and that's a big angle for a lot of handicappers.
And if he does win, he will have carried the most weight for a mile winner in Emerald Downs history. We've had a couple win at 123. Any Port in a Storm with 124.
Who do you like?
I'm going to go with Solid Wager from the 2 post.
Solid Wager?
I like El Huerfano a little too, but the 11 post is going to be tough for him. He's got to negotiate that. But Solid Wager comes in. He's won 3 Cary Grant Stakes at 7/8. He's won the Toboggan at Aqueduct this year. He's well-traveled, but if Any Port in a Storm does get challenged, that extra 1/8 of a mile, as Phil mentioned, if he's pressured, that's going to be a tougher 1/8 of a mile for him than Solid Wager. I think he's the second favorite at 5-1. Not too far out there.
Not too many horses have won their first graded stakes at age of 8, and that's what he did.
8?
That was his first graded stakes win. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And he can tie then to become the oldest mile winner. Let's take a short break here on Emerald Downs Weekly. We'll be coming back with more. Thanks for watching. Emerald Downs Weekly. It is Longacres Mile Week, the big race on Sunday, Championship Sunday. And time for stat versus stat. Joe versus Gary.
I have to correct the stat. I said Solid Wager. I said first graded win at age 8.
What are you doing?
He did win one.
Getting ready for the
He
Rumble.
won another one in December of 16, so that was his second graded win.
Second.
But not too many 8-year-olds win graded stakes races.
John Henry won a few, I think.
Just a couple. He was pretty special. So,
Okay.
stat versus stat. Here we go.
Let's go to the video. 1997 Longacres Mile.
Kid Catabatic as they race to the furlong pole by 3. He's a bull in second, then came Liberty Road. The whips are out and Chris Loseth on Kid Catabatic by 2 lengths. He's a bull with a late burst on the outside, but it's a wire-to-wire win for Kid Catabatic in the mile. Kid Catabatic first.
The mile means a lot. Robert's voice cracked a couple of times at the finish of the mile. Chris Loseth, the first jockey to win the mile at Longacres and Emerald Downs. But in the last 50 years, there's only been one completely new, fresh field in the mile. There's been a carryover horse every year from 1969 until this year, including this year, except for 1997. That was a brand new field, no carryover from the year before, so a little bit of a unique instance there.
Yes.
Oh, Marvelous Me is the horse this year that ran last year.
Trying to think of that.
Very
yes.
good. Gary, how about yourself?
Let's go back to the 80s. 1982, Pompey Court, Sandy Holly. Longacres.
Pompey Court on the outside and Chinook Pass on the rail. Pompey Court and Chinook Pass, police inspectors on the move. It is Pompey Court, Chinook Pass on the rail, and police inspector. It's Pompey Court.
There we go. That's Sandy Hawley winning a second Long Ears Mile. He's in the Racing Hall of Fame. And look at all these great jockeys of the past to win the Long Ears Mile and 5,000 wins. Russell Bays, Johnny Longden, Sandy Hawley from Canada, Lafitte Pincay, Bill Shoemaker, our own Gary Stevens, and Eddie Delahousse.
Boy, that's I may call this week a dead heat. That's tough.
Okay, we'll
You
call
guys,
it a dead
you
heat.
guys
First
both
tie of the year.
you guys both had to really dig for those stats.
Absolutely.
So I'll
Joe's
give you both credit.
I did do some
Unique.
big-time digging.
That's digging for that one.
But 5,000 wins in the mile,
Yeah.
all those Racing Hall of Famers, pretty good too. Gary fully expected, I think, to win this week. But,
Yeah, what happened?
nonetheless.
Bill?
You did.
Dead heat.
It's like a dead
You did.
heat.
You
It's
won.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a win.
So,
You get to split the cupcake.
all right, one of the mile contenders featured in our weekly Long Acres Mile Road to the Race video. Let's watch. El Huerfano seemed destined to race in the Long Acres Mile. The 7-year-old Calbred is on his third set of different Washington-based owners, and now connections are looking forward to Championship Sunday, August 11th. Craig Perrenboom of Maple Valley, along with friend Michael Boyer, claimed El Huerfano at Santa Anita in May. Previous to that, the $586,000 earner had a successful stint with Where We At, made up of Emerald Downs regulars Jack Fabulich and Paul Heist. And in 2018, Dr. George Tadaro was in ownership for a time. Versatility has taken El Huerfano to 7 wins on dirt and also grass and synthetic. His only stake score was in the 6-furlong Golden Bear at age 3, but this year he has Santa Anita victories at 1 mile and 1/8 and 1 mile.
There's 1/8 of a mile to go. El Huerfano digging in gamely. 2:35 swings out, and in between them, Dark Vader. El Huerfano, Dark Vader. El Huerfano by a head. Dark Vader's trying to get him. Dark Vader or El Huerfano. Dark Vader, El Huerfano, nose and nose. El Huerfano would not be denied.
Out of California for the first time, he went unplaced in the June 30th Budweiser Stakes, but there's been a positive turnaround under the care of trainer Chris Stensley.
I think he was just maybe a little bit tired from the trip, the transition. You know, they changed feed, they change hands. Everything is different, and he just wasn't here long enough to really get acclimated. A couple weeks went by, he started getting quite a personality. He started coming around, tried feeding him animal crackers. He really liked those. You know, just really started getting into the bridle and training really good. And then worked him, and he just worked awesome. I mean, I broke him off, and I was on him myself, and it was like, you know, slow down, and just really took off.
Owner Perrenboom makes regular visits to the Stensley barn and can't help but get excited for the mile, the goal all along.
We are absolutely thrilled with his progress. I visited him this morning in the barn. He's happy, he's healthy. Chris has done just a fantastic job, and he is just thriving here at Emerald right now.
His current training and racing is pleasing everyone, and he's showing personality around the barn.
We got some watermelon, and he was kind of begging for it, so I was feeding him that. And he loves the watermelon, so he's personality's really come around. He seems to be very happy. Was real happy with his last race. You know, put in just a huge effort. Probably didn't see that horse coming up on the outside. Just caught him.
Stensley trained the talented O.B. Harbor, third as the mile favorite in 2016, and she's ready for another opportunity. Perrenboom also has reason for optimism.
He's very versatile. He likes to be near the lead. He likes to be in a tangle, and if he's in a tangle, he'll give everything, and a lot of those tangles, he ends up in front.
Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest, and it is Mile Week, the big race on Sunday, first race at 2 p.m. A lot happening throughout Mile Week as usual. Gary, let's have a little rundown here.
Yeah, we got 3 days of racing. Friday, we'll start off with our usual 6:30 posts. Band playing between the races called Unloaded, Horseshoe Toss. Still haven't gave away $1,000. Get close some weekends, but still have the money. On to Saturday, we'll go at 5 o'clock, first race. But first of all, in the morning Saturday, we'll have breakfast at the Wire. That'll be from 8 to 10. Then Phil, we can come out here and run the racetrack, run the mile at 10:30 a.m. Come on out, $20 to run around the track. We'll have some fast kids and some walkers like me or joggers. So that'll be fun. That'll be at 10:30.
$20 benefits.
Yes, goes to PDJF, the Jockey Fund. We'll get all the money that we can get on Sunday.
Ages 17 and under are free.
Yep.
And the donation is $20 suggested. So if you only have $10 or $5 for the donation, that's fine. Come on out, run the mile, make whatever you can donate. We appreciate it.
Did you finish second last year, Bill?
Well, I finished a half a mile ahead of him, but I don't think I was
second. You were in the top 10. And
Bill could get around that track pretty well.
No, somebody went really fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then that night we'll have the jockey foot race.
Yeah, that was popular last year.
We'll have them go 110 yards out of the starting gate. Hopefully we can get a full field. That's between the races. And here's a look of a dead heat, Phil, last year between Alex Anaya and Patrick Henry Jr. It was too close to call.
And runners away. Good start for Francisco Arduino Rojas. Look at Patrick Henry fly, middle of the racetrack. And Alex Anaya is rolling grandstand side. Here comes the Wire. Patrick Henry, Alex Anaya. Oh, I don't know. It was too close to call between those two.
Patrick didn't sell it. He should have got up and put his hands up in the air.
At least he fell at the end. Emerald Ed at the beginning of that didn't make it about 4 steps.
Yes.
Took a...
Alex Anaya has a little longer stride than Patrick, but Patrick was speeding well. So both of them expected to be back in the jockey foot race. And, do what you can to contribute to the PDJF on Saturday here.
They'll be signing autographs.
Right. We'll have some jockey silks, some numbered silks, and we'll have them down by the jocks room. And after racing, we'll have the band called the Retros come out for a pre-Funk Championship Sunday night of music. Right after the races, around 8:30 on the 5th floor. Should be a fun Saturday night. Yeah, should be a big crowd.
Retros on Saturday night, first race at 5, and then mile days on Sunday.
Yep. First, the Railboard Rally starts off at 11 in the morning in the park from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come on out. We'll talk to a bunch of trainers and jockeys and owners about their horses, have some DJ music. Be a fun time. You can get a hot dog, a soda, and a pop once you get your ticket to come on in. And that'll go for a couple hours. Then we'll go on to the racing. Starts about 2 o'clock, and we'll run 4 stakes. Right, Phil? That will be
And you could get all of that for free if you did it the right way.
Railboard Rally, Emerald Rewards cards. Just bring your card this weekend, swipe it through the kiosk, and you'll get a ticket. They take the customer service, and they'll give you a big ticket that's got all the information.
And then you go to the Railboard Rally, and gives you free admission for the races.
So
that's a way to
and
get
a program
for free. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, well, Sunday is going to be a big day. Yeah, the Railbird Rally, a lot of fun. The GOAT is he's got his own way of presenting information, and he does it pretty well. He loves the history of racing in this state. He was one of our original tailgaters here at Emerald Downs.
Wow.
It was illegal back then for some reason in Auburn city limits, but he did it anyway.
Yeah, and then like you said, the
prize drawings. Drawings and give away tickets on some of the horses running the mile and the Derby.
You can get some inside information sometimes. A trainer will say something that might tip you off to maybe an angle in a race you didn't think of, so it's good to come out here. And then we have the 50-cent all-stakes pick 4 on the 4 stakes races on Sunday. We're also going to be we're not sure exactly the configuration, but we'll be part of a coast-to-coast nationwide pick 5, where Saratoga stakes race. They have 2 stakes races, I believe, 2 of our stakes races, and maybe a stakes race from Ellis Park in a pick 5. So that'll be an interesting handicapping challenge, and you could bet on that right here at Emerald Downs.
And once again, the mile fits in a nice weekend nationally. Saratoga has so many big weekends. This isn't maybe one of their biggest. Same thing with Del Mar. So the mile fits in nice nationally, and with those additions inclusive in pick 5s, that's going to be great. You know, to our top 2 all-time trainers in track history are in the mile, Frank Lucarelli and Tim McCanna. They haven't won it.
No.
Frank with, of course, Elliott Bay and Tim with Rocky Tough, and then Blaine Wright hasn't won the mile either. He has, of course, the favorite, Any Port in a Storm, and Oh Marvelous Me. So 3 of our all-time prominent guys looking for their first mile win.
2 o'clock Sunday. Get out here early, enjoy the day, and we're going to have
$2 drinks, right?
$2 Bud Lights, margaritas, and hot dogs on Sunday. It's going to be a great day.
Hope to see you at the track. Mile Day is Sunday at Emerald Downs. Thanks for watching. And
one more time.
Lewis is okay, we've heard.
We see a lot of people falling on this show. Lewis fell. We saw Patrick Henry. Emerald Ed.
Emerald Ed fell, yeah.
Everybody took it. Poor Lewis. You guys are just letting him have it here. See you at the track.